Just how good is it to be home?
It's good. Had to mow the yard. Had a lot of things I needed to get done. No, we've been on the phone a lot trying to find out as much as we can about, the other three teams in the tournament, and it's just taking care of some things. When you're gone 13 days, that's a long time. I don't get to take too many vacations, but mine are usually not more than maybe 5 or 6 days because you just get a little stressed out away from being home, being away from home and all the things that need to be taken care of. And but it was good to get back last night. The guys were pretty giddy when we got off the bus and we walked in the locker room. So, a lot of them was like, "Oh, I get to sleep in my own bed. It's good to be here." And some of them even had conversations with their lockers, so it's kind of comical. But it is good to be back in Fayetteville.
Down there in Hoover, you were saying how it needs to be a good time for them because school's out and all that. But it turns out Alberius was saying Sunday that it was great bonding and all the fun stuff. Can you maybe talk to some of the fun stuff you saw the guys doing?
I think just all the time that I think what he was referring to, the bonding, is that you don't have to worry about anything else except playing baseball and hanging out with your friends. And, these guys are I've been doing this a long time, and I tell kids this when I recruit them that, you're going to have your friends from high school, but they slowly fade away a little bit. Your best friends for life are your friends from college, and these are the guys that are going to be in your weddings. And I've been into many a wedding, and who's lined up? All the players on the team, and it's kind of neat to see. It's just like someone who's in a fraternity or a female in a sorority. That's usually the way it works. And I just think that they know each other so well. They're such good friends, and they all hang out together. Yeah, there's 3 or 4 that hang out together more than others, but there's not like it's a bunch of cliques. It's just a bunch of guys that are on the same mission to play as long as we can. So I think that's the bonding, whether it's on the bus or the plane or in the dugout. There's just been a lot of time with each other, and I think the more they hang out with each other, the more they want to win for each other.
These guys got a taste of it in the Super 2 years ago, but a lot of them haven't played in the regional. None of them played in the regional format. Just what do you think it means to get back and host a regional here at Baum Stadium?
Well, I think that they'll see when they see the crowds come in and just feel the electricity in the air and the atmosphere. And I think that obviously we were disappointed that we lost Sunday. I guess the only good that came out of it really is that we got to play in front of that crowd, and it was 14,000 strong probably, and mostly LSU fans, and they were loud, and we handled it pretty good for the most part, and we were close. We were one big hit away. So I think that will help them as far as being able to handle the regional atmosphere, and it should be obviously our fans are going to dominate this, but there's also going to be a lot of fans from other schools because they're so close. So but I think it'll be a great experience for them, and I think it's something that, you almost have to be a part of it. So, like you said, 2 years ago they got to see it all the way to Omaha. Last year, nothing. So hopefully they'll realize that it is special.
Is there also a bonding even with all the trouble they went through last year to get them through it?
Well, I think so. I mean, it was a rough year. It was, some teams are sitting home like we did last year. This past week, it's hard to watch the games on TV. It's, for a kid, they're out doing other things. Coaches were trying to get better, and I think they all came together pretty good right after the season last year and said this isn't going to happen again. And we talked to them about it, and there's no doubt that what happened last year helped us prepare a little harder this year.
Do you think Murphy can solidify himself as your number 3 starter down there?
I would be good throwing Murphy. I'm going to wait and see. Hopefully we get to that game, see what game, where we're at in that game. Are we 2-1? Are we 2-0? 1-1? Whatever. Before we decide how we're going to handle it. But I have no problem starting him. I think he did a tremendous job there. He pitched well in Little Rock. He's pitched well many a time this year, and he's a little sneaky out there on the mound, and as far as sneaky fast, and when he hits his spots, he's pretty good. It really just depends on if the team's right-handed, left-handed. What's their situation as well.
How much better do you feel about the starting pitching, though, now maybe than you did going into the tournament, knowing that you have a Casey Murphy, a Dominic Taccolini that can go game 3 or 4 if you need them to?
Yeah, that's another big positive that came out of the tournament, is that we gained some confidence in some guys, and I think some of our players now have more confidence in some of these guys that were either starting or bringing out of the pen, and it's been it's been good to see, because we were a little nervous about different situations. Just having Matt Cronin, a lot of people were grumbling when I took Cronin out after he struck out the 4-hole hitter for LSU, the bases loaded. But the issue was he just threw 70 pitches 2 days before. I didn't want to hurt him, and I want to have him available for this weekend. And I know he was pretty sore the day after, and he hadn't thrown that many. So, we feel like he can really help us. And then obviously other guys. I think Copps did a great job, and Reindl did a really nice job, especially his second outing. So all those guys could start, or really we could just go in and start somebody and then kind of figure it out from there.
You got to talk to Spenberger at all about not trying to do too much after the week you had last week, or is that something he can do?
Yeah, I don't know if we really need to talk to him too much about that. I think he's pretty level-headed, and he's had a really solid year. It's not like it came out of nowhere. Obviously, it's a big feat to do what he did, hit 3 home runs out of that stadium in one game, and then pop another 1 or 2 the next day, whatever he did. And he had a great weekend. But he also struck out a little bit. He also, failed a little bit, and this game's all about failure and being able to handle it. And if anybody's going to talk to him about it, I'll let Tony talk to him about it. If I see that I need to get involved with that, I will. But I think he's had a great approach.
Do you like Luke there in the 4-hole, backing him up, or
3-hole?
Or 3-hole, yeah.
Yeah, that's why Luke's in the 3-hole. Luke just didn't have a good last game and a half, and 2 times this year they've walked Chad to get to Luke, and he's made him pay a couple of times. So. It didn't happen. I told him after the game in front of the whole team, I said, Luke, when that opportunity comes again, you're the guy I want to the plate. You're the guy I wanted up there. It didn't happen for you today. Move on. So it's all good.
Biggers had a big tournament, and he didn't make the all-tournament team, and I think with 10 hits, I don't know. What did you think of that?
Oh, how about Cole?
Yeah.
I mean, Cole had 10 hits plus a couple home runs. Biggers had, a couple triples. I think they were just spreading it out, or I don't know who was voting, or if they forgot about a couple of guys. But those were 2 all-tournament players right there. And, Jack's made an error or 2. One of them probably shouldn't have been an error. One of them was. Maybe the other shortstop, fielded clean all weekend, but didn't swing the bat the same. But, I guess there's only so many spots. And, example, you could give somebody the DH, but maybe you ought to just take an outfielder that hit, or just take somebody that hit. Doesn't really have to be that he DH'd the whole weekend. So, yeah, that was a little disappointing. But at the time, I was happy for the guys that made it, and actually commented to both of those guys saying you should have made it, because that's all you can say. And, I guess that's that.
Kind of interesting, just parallel with the fact that the 3 teams you're going to face in this regional were 3 teams you had to defeat on the way to Omaha in 2015.
I'd really thought about it. I pretty much predicted the regional, except I thought OU was coming until Oklahoma State won that, won the championship. Then I said we'll get Oklahoma State, instead of OU. It's a regional. It's definitely a regional, and it's if you add up all the RPIs, we're right there with everybody else, and it's amazing how they went by RPI so much. If you really break it down, it's incredible, and it's going to change the way a lot of coaches are, if you really think about it, are scheduling. And you got to go on the road more. You better play good people, and if you lose, you lose. But yeah, I mean, I figured it was going to be this way. If Missouri State would have won their tournament, they might have got a regional as well. So that would have separated us. But it's a great field.
Like Holy Cross is 23 and 27. They got shipped out to Corvallis. You got a 4 seed here that's 42 and 14.
Our 4 seed is not a 4 seed. Our 4 seed is a 1 or a 2. They're the team that nobody wants to see pop up as a number 4. There's no number 1 anywhere that wants to see Oral Roberts and have to face them in game 1. Obviously, they know how to win, and you could say, well, they play in a league, whatever. But just look at their non-conference schedule. They've beaten most of the people in the Midwest that are pretty good, from Oklahoma State to Wichita State to Oklahoma. I mean, we could go on. Dallas Baptist a couple of times, and they're good. They're a little bit of an older team, a lot of juniors, a lot of seniors, and it's going to be a battle.
It used to be a good series between you two until it ended in 2012. Just some of the history there with you.
Of what?
You and ORU.
Yeah, it was just, you can blame it on me. I really didn't want to go over there too much. I think, they want to play home and away. We needed more home games. It just kind of went that way. Then we didn't talk for a year or two about playing, and so that's kind of how it's went. It might kick back up again, though.
Yeah, could you see that series getting rekindled?
Could, yeah.
Third base just kind of how you look at it.
Revolving door right now, isn't it? Obviously, Kenley's our best fielder, very good defender. Getting some good swings every now and then from Gates. Doesn't have the range. Been pretty solid on balls he got to. The ball he dropped out of his glove the other day ended up hurting us pretty good. We're just going to get one there. We weren't going to be able to turn double play. Just looked away too quick, and the ball fell out of his glove. And then as a coach, you're thinking maybe I should have started the other guy. But it's definitely been a tough situation over there because third base you want some production. And it hadn't happened really for the last month. So we were just talking about it a minute ago down in the locker room with the coaches. So still not sure who will start over there Friday.
What have you found out about ORU and just kind of scouting them ahead of you game on Friday?
Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to throw their lefty at us. Their thought probably would be that we have 4 to 5 lefties in the lineup because of, one's a switch hitter. We can turn him around, and we've faced a lot of good lefties this year. I haven't really platooned with this team. I feel like the left-handed hitters have done a nice job against left-handed pitching. Their catcher's outstanding. They've got 67 home runs. I mean, they've got 4 or 5 guys that can hit it a long way at any time. I think they've got one guy with 16 or 17 home runs. So, and they play in a good-sized park. So, and they play good people. So it's not like they're phony numbers. They're hitting 300 as a team. They're hitting 15 points higher than us approximately. So, and like I said, they're an older team. They look the part. They look like an SEC team physically, and they're confident.
About half your games have been against teams in the field, and your last 11 were all in the NCAA tournament. Just how do you think a schedule like that preps you for regional?
Well, we're not going to be shocked by anybody, and we, the team knows that. And we talked about that after the ball game that, we might run into a really good pitcher or, a team that runs real well or they've got power or whatever. But as far as just, the level of competition, we're not going to run into anything that we haven't seen before. It's just a matter of being able to handle it and be able to, to score or get people out. And, that's the good thing about playing the good schedule. You might not win 40 games, but you might get ready for, the second season if you can get there.
What do you think of Cook where he's at right now? I thought he squared up a few balls.
Yeah. He was the hard luck hitter in that tournament for us. What stands out is him not making contact with a runner at third in less than 2 in the second inning, but then his next 3 at-bats he hits line drive deep right, line drive into right center that's caught by the center fielder, and then he flies to the wall in left center. And, he has nothing to show for it. He's watching his batting average drop. He's not feeling good, and we just tell him, hey, your day's coming, and maybe it's this weekend. So I feel like he's fine. And he looks good. He's strong. He's, it's not like he's worn out, so he's not hitting, and that's not the case. He's ready to go, and, he's probably just one big swing away from having a great weekend.
You decide the order of Stefan.
Yeah, we're going to go with Stefan game 1. We're not going to change anything up. We're going to keep everybody at proper rest. We feel like both pitchers are, number ones, and we're not going to switch.
It was early in the year. Might have even been the first series, or you went down to Alabama and swept them 3 games.
Yeah.
Does that something that impresses you, and you can, impresses your guys?
They either went down there the second or third weekend, and they won 3 tight games at Alabama. We only won 2. When you think back, and we won 2 out of 3, and that last one was tied up until Shaddy got a big hit there in the top of the ninth to give us a lead, and then we held on and won. So that just tells you they can handle it. That's been discussed a little bit.
Beginning of the year, you said Biggers could be one of the better shortstops you've coached. How would you assess that now, going in?
I'd have to say he's probably one of the better shortstops I've coached. I think he's really good, and he might not possess that 90-plus arm across the infield, but he does everything else. He has tremendous range. He can come and get the ball, and the thing that has really impressed me is that he's a better hitter than I thought. And that's through work ethic and a lot of want to, and he's just a baseball player.
8 SEC teams, and could have maybe gotten a couple more if there hadn't been some upsets in conference tournaments. Just what do you think about the SEC teams that got in and that kind of representation?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think we have the most this year. I think the ACC had the most last year, and the league RPI was, I think, first or second, and there's a couple that didn't get in that you feel bad for. South Carolina jumps out at you. Ole Miss had a good team. They had, they played a really good schedule. They lost some midweek games that hurt them, and there's there's just so much parity that 1 or 2 bad weeks it can throw you into that bubble. And fortunately we didn't have to worry about it this year. Last year we didn't have to worry about it either. We weren't even close to it. So this was a lot better feeling. I think you're going to see this from now on in Division I baseball. There's going to be a lot of really good programs that don't get a regional every year. There's just too many. The kids are spreading out more. I think there's a lot of programs that are investing, and I say this a lot, but they really are investing in their program more and their facilities and coaches, and it's getting tougher to have maybe those 60 dominant teams. There's maybe 100 every year that have a shot.
Would you like the NCAA to go to a 1 through 16 seed? I know it's been talked about.
Yeah, and I haven't really investigated a lot, but it'd be nice if they did. I think it would be good. You could just see where you're at and what they're thinking. So there's a lot of, I'm not going to say it's secretive, but you just don't know what's going on there.
You got a couple jobs open in the SEC, Alabama and Tennessee. How competitive? I mean, how hot are those jobs going to be for guys wanting to get those? Do you think?
This is going to be very competitive. You don't fire a coach after 1 year if you don't want to go out and make a serious investment. And Coach Serrano, and I know it didn't go that well for him, and I still haven't figured out why. I know they've had some issues off the field and with players, and they've been one hit away here and there. But he's one of the best coaches that I've coached against, and for some reason it just didn't work for him. I coached against him when he was at Fullerton in the World Series. I coached against him when we went up to, up the road of one of the other California schools. Irvine. I mean, he's a good coach. And Tennessee was where he wanted to go. He coached there as a young guy, and it's a tough area. There's a lot of good schools around there that are getting players, but it's going to be fine. I know that one day we'll probably look up and Coach Serrano's going to be coaching at a big-time program, and he'll end up in Omaha again.
Anything else? All right.